Hey, folks, we're back. Welcome to this episode of From the Sidelines to the Seats. I'm Rob DeArmond.
I'm Adam DeArmond.
We took a little break, but we're back, and there's a lot to catch up on. This episode is going to focus primarily on the College World Series, but there are a few things we wanted to talk about before we get started. Go ahead and talk about some of that stuff, Adam.
All right. First off, Cam Jordan signs a 1-year deal with the Saints. This is likely his last contract he'll ever sign. He's likely going to retire as a Saint, and I have no problems with that. He's had a great career with us. He's been a great leader, great person, just amazing guy for the franchise and for the team. I mean, all around, couldn't ask for a better player, and I'm so glad we New Orleans Saints fans have got to see this guy play and be around for as long as he has. So this is likely his final ride with us.
This is one of those things that we're waiting on. You're kind of you want to see how it plays out. And honestly, I've said this before. I felt like that was a guy that they needed in this locker room. Don't know what the production is going to be like this year on the field. He put up really solid numbers even last year, came up in key times. But I think you need that leadership in the locker room, especially with as many young players as you have. And I think that's the biggest thing that he's bringing to the table for this team right now.
Absolutely. I mean, they've drafted a lot of young guys, and a lot of the older guys have either retired or gone other places. So this is a rebuilding team, and I think just having them around for a year to look over these guys and give them that leadership and focus that they need to become better players and just what playing in the NFL is like. And I mean, Cam Jordan is that guy, and I just like to see him there. And I think it's going to be good for these rookies coming in, and even the guys who have only been there a year. I think he's still going to be a great guy to have in the locker room.
Who could you think of better to learn from to be a professional athlete on that roster?
At the moment, it's gotta be Cam Jordan. He's probably the oldest guy on that team at the moment. Like, just thinking about it, sitting here thinking about it right now, they really don't have veteran guys on that team, especially with as much experience as Cam Jordan does, because they lost Mario Davis to the Jets, so he is the veteran presence in that locker room at the moment.
And I would point to Kamara as well, but it's a weird thing because you remember when Cam Jordan was drafted, at least I do. I remember it like it was yesterday, and here we are, this
Yeah.
this far along, and it just he's been there just constant. It's a constant thing, and I think it's a good thing for the Saints.
Absolutely. He's a great part of that team, and I'm glad to have him back. The other little piece of information is Alan Graves, Ponchatoula native, drafted to the Raptors. I don't know much about basketball. I don't really follow it that much, but anytime there's a local player that gets drafted or has any sort of success at the next level, and then even at an even higher level, like the NBA, it's always good to acknowledge that. And happy for him. His fiance she's the little sister of somebody I graduated with. So, yeah, I believe she's a year younger than me. So some
I
connection there.
I got to see Alan Graves play a few years back in Lake Charles with Ponchatoula. It's like you said, it's just a great opportunity, great thing for Tangible Hope Harris for him to be drafted. And it looks like we talk about Tyler Shuck coming in and figuring out the culture and everything. It looks like Alan Graves is doing that to start out. He's all over social media, and every time I'm seeing it, I'm trying to repost some of that stuff. Fitting in Toronto really quickly, which I think is going to be really cool. That's going to be fun to watch, man. Just looking forward
Abs-
to that.
Absolutely. And he's a first round pick. And I mean, being a first round pick in any major sport is a huge deal, big accomplishment. So, yeah, I mean, just congratulations to him. Happy for anybody that gets drafted in the first round.
Congratulations, man. Just
Yeah.
happy to see it. Happy to see it. It's a great thing, man. Let's move on, man. We said we are going to talk a little baseball, and here we are.
Yeah.
I think the last one we did, or one of the last ones we did, we were talking about the conference tournaments and things like that. And we've made it through. Oklahoma is your College World Series champion. That is 7 straight for the Southeastern Conference. That is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
C is the dominant force in baseball right now. You've seen it in football. baseball right now, they are arguably just even more dominant in that. Every single year, you have multiple teams competing for a national title, and we're not talking like 2 or 3, we're talking like 5 to 6 teams that you say, "That team could make a national championship, they could win it all." Now, as far as Oklahoma winning the whole thing, if you would have told me that at the start of this tournament, I would have laughed at you and been like, "Okay, yeah, sure. You can think that, but that's not gonna happen." They beat 3 conference champions and then a 4th one. No, they beat 3 conference champions to get where they are. That is absurd, and, just I don't even know what to say besides just they deserve that. They fought tooth and nail to get it. They beat the number 2 seed, in the bottom of the 10th inning with a solo shot, and then they go on, they sweep Kansas, and then they didn't lose a game in the College World Series until North Carolina beat them in the championship game. But then they would get their revenge in game 3 and win it all in a blowout. Just wow. That's all I can say about this tournament was just wow. None of this was what I was expecting, especially especially not Oklahoma winning the entire thing. I mean, you have number 1 UCLA going down, number 2 Georgia Tech going down. They didn't even make it out of the regional round. They didn't get a chance to go to the super regional because that's your 1 and 2 seeds. Your 2 best teams in the country did not even make it past the first round. That's absurd. I mean, and then on top of that, UCLA, the first 1 seed to lose their first game in the tournament. That's also crazy. And they somehow didn't even make it to the championship game of theirs. I mean, that was a team coming into this where they were red hot. They looked almost invincible and they got shut down. I mean, that's the best way I could say it. It St. Mary's absolutely just shut down all their momentum and it it was just weird to see because they're a clutch team. They have a lot of comeback wins, more than any team in the country coming into this, and that clutch factor got shut down by St. Mary's.
They start trailing again, and you're watching against St. Mary's that second time, and like, okay, because you're going through the postseason, it just seemed like they were finding ways to win. Like if you're watching the end of one game, or even if UCLA was on TV, you had to switch over to try to okay, what's going to happen here? They're trailing, here they come. Okay, here comes the rally, they win, and it just didn't happen in that game against St. Mary's that second game, but think about this, man. They went on a 27 game win streak at one point during the season. It starts on February 24th. It ends on April 14th. Think about that over the course of a baseball season. That's almost unheard of. I mean, it
Yeah,
is unheard of. I've never heard anything like that, like ever.
especially at that level of baseball. I mean, you had Oregon State that a few years back when I don't think they had won it all at that point, but they had the best record ever seen, and I don't know if that record still holds today, but we're going on to that level of type of stuff, just the insane win streaks. You don't lose for an entire month. They did not lose for the entire month of March, and they almost went even farther than that, going,
Like a month and a half, man.
yeah,
That's
how do
just
you go
crazy.
from February to April without losing a game?
Just
That's just
crazy.
insane.
Just crazy. I think we were talking about that, I think, in the middle of the season, and it was like, okay, we just gotta, just follow this team and see what happens, and that's how we kinda got on it.
Seeing them lose was just completely unexpected. Not at all what I saw coming. I mean, once they lost that first game, I was like, they might be in trouble." And, sure enough, they didn't even make it to their championship in their regional, which is, it's disappointing for them, but at the same time, they were playing ball that they had been playing all year. It's just they couldn't pull it together in those situations and piece together the clutch hits that they needed against St. Mary. I mean, they did it against Virginia Tech, but they could not do it against St. Mary. And I mean, Cal Poly ends up winning the entire thing. Not the entire thing, but that regional. They win the Los Angeles regional, and then they would go on to play West Virginia and get absolutely smoked. So it's almost you're thinking almost if UCLA wins that one, does West Virginia make it the first time in their program's history to
Right.
the College World
Right.
Series? It's such a weird thing to think about because Cal Poly gets hot during that regional, and then they somehow just hit a brick wall with West Virginia. So, do you honestly, it's like, do you think UCLA would have put up a better fight against West Virginia? Yeah, I think they would have. I don't. I mean, West Virginia was hot coming into that, but at the same time, not necessarily would have told you that, yeah, West Virginia was going to make the College World Series this year as the 16 seed.
And I say it all the time. I'll post it on Facebook when we see stuff like this, and I did it a few times during these tournaments and in the College World Series. You just go, "That's baseball, y'all. That's how it goes," And it's not necessarily if a team is playing its best baseball. I mean, we see it with Oklahoma. They probably had the hottest team going in. I personally had UNC winning it, but sometimes it's not like the best team, it's how you're playing at the time. And when Oklahoma gets to Omaha, they were just the hottest team in Omaha, and they rode that to a national championship, and you gotta tip your hat to them.
Absolutely, they were just the hottest team. And they showed it. Their bats were red hot, and I just don't know what to say about it besides that it is just crazy that they did what they did. And I mean, you're a hot team in that moment, and you win the entire thing. You're not necessarily the best team there. I don't even think they were ranked at that point because they have the national seeds and then they have the rankings behind that. I don't even think they were ranked at that point, but they managed to win the entire thing as let me see, I believe they were a 2 seed in that tournament in their regional. Yeah, they were a 2 seed in their regional and they won the entire thing. I mean, that's not like, oh, 2 seed wins the whole thing. Not unheard of. But then at the same time, the way that they were playing towards the end of the year and for them to win the entire thing, absurd. Also, shout out to Southeastern, shut out the national
That's
champions.
right. That's right. We were driving by the park that day when they were playing, and I think I was like, "Turn around, let me see what we were driving away from the park, I think, so I was like, "Turn around," and I think at that point it was scoreless, probably in the 3rd or 4th inning, and then, by that evening, they picked up the win, so Southeastern got a win over the national champion here. So, one thing I was looking at too, man, we go into this, championship series, and Oklahoma wins that first game 9-3. Kind of wasn't expecting that, but the way Oklahoma was playing, it was not unexpected. And then that second game, it was closer, and then it winds up 6-2. UNC wins that. They get a couple of home runs there, a solo shot in the fifth, and then a 2-run shot in the seventh to win that. But the telling thing for me, and I was not expecting this in the championship winner take all game. I was not expecting a 13-2 final at all. They were probably in the 5th or 6th inning by the time I got home to catch some of it. And at that point, Oklahoma was pretty much in control. But I also look at this too. Oklahoma scored in all but 3 innings in that game. And then North Carolina had 2 runs on 10 hits. That's not being productive of what you do, which was a complete opposite of what got them there in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, even in their super regional against USC, they were struggling to get those runners in, and I think that pattern continued in the championship series. I mean, they were hot coming into it. They had won the games that they needed to win, but just overall, they just struggled in the postseason to get those runners in. They get people on, they work counts. They would look like a good baseball team. They just couldn't put it together. They could get a hit here and there, but they weren't just consistently getting those runners that they got on base in. I mean, you had base running mistakes, you had just poor situational hitting in those situations, and that ultimately cost them the national championship because they couldn't turn on their clutch factor, and that really weighed them down in that moment.
Which was weird because I wanna say it was against Georgia. They got those clutch hits to beat Georgia before, and it like I said, I'm gonna say it again, it's baseball, y'all. Stuff happens, and if you've hung around long enough, if you watch the game enough, you're gonna see stuff you just don't see, I think between you and I, we watched a little bit of probably every game during the College World Series, if
Yeah.
not entire games, because we would block out the time to sit down and watch these games, and so much going on. There were a couple things I didn't expect. I did not expect Alabama to only score 2 runs in 2 games. and the other one was a 2-and-Q by Ole Miss. I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you get a 30-loss Troy team. First team in the history of the Men's College World Series to lose 30 games and make it. And then on top of that, they get their first appearance and their first win against an Alabama team that scored 2 runs.
2 runs. I'm still
2
at a
runs.
loss on that. I'm still at a loss on that. I'm still scratching my head there.
Yeah, it just I mean, on an Ole Miss team. Sorry, they played Ole Miss, not Alabama. But yeah, they shut down Ole Miss. Seeing Ole Miss play 2 games and then be done is crazy to me. Just this whole College World Series was just nuts. I don't know. It just completely unpredictable. You got teams that have no business being there necessarily winning games. I mean, Troy getting to where they got is an accomplishment in itself. Just completely forget about the fact that, they did not win a College World Series. They did not become national champions. They made it there for the first time in program history and got a win with 30 losses. Just that's not something that you would see every day. I
It
mean,
goes
I,
back. I mean, you said they had no business being there, but they got there, man.
I know
They
it's
they start it goes back to you get hot at the right time, you start playing your best ball, and I mean, they get a win at the College World Series, and for a program like Troy, like you said, they weren't expected to be there, but you're there, you made a showing, people know who you are now. It's one of those coastal Carolina things too, I think. They don't sneak up on anybody anymore. They
yeah,
made a
no,
name for themselves, and I think that might be the case with Troy too.
yeah. Troy just, I mean, they got hot at the right time, just like Oklahoma. It's just they likely did not have the same amount of talent as Oklahoma has on their team. So Oklahoma was able to go a little bit farther, but Troy got insanely hot. And for them to be an SEC contender like that, that's crazy. They avoid just playing 2 games and being out like I expected them to be. Them beating Ole Miss was crazy. Did not see that coming. They would get eliminated a game later though, but I mean, besides that, it just fantastic season from Troy. Those guys should be proud of it. I know they probably didn't get the result that they were wanting, but at the same time, I don't think they were expecting to be in that position necessarily. They were just like, let's go play baseball, let's go win games, and they made it work. They were playing baseball. They had all the momentum on their side. It's just a team that was hot and hit a brick wall against West Virginia once again.
Just I like that energy, especially in that old Miss game from Troy. It was fun to watch. You go back and look at it, and it's like, man, it's like your kids playing the game because you love playing the game, and that's what it was for me. Just watching those guys go, and do it. Just fun stuff. College World Series. It's unlike, especially I felt like this year was, and we talked about it before, where you could sometimes you can sit down and go, okay, I'm gonna pick this team because of this. We both of us, I think, felt like it was wide open, and that's exactly what we got this year.
Yeah, I had a feeling UNC would be the ones to, make it to the championship, but as far as who was going to win it, I had no idea.
Yeah,
There, I had a feeling could go all the way. I think the only 2 teams that I was like, absolutely not, were Troy and Alabama. I did not think those are the only 2 teams that I could confidently say, yeah, I don't think they're going to win the entire thing. As far as the other ones, wide open. I thought each one of those teams could win it. Oklahoma, as hot as they were coming into the College World Series, I was like, I have no idea. I was like, it would be crazy if they won the entire thing, but I don't think I was expecting that either. It just absolutely crazy. Just the entire thing. A bunch of unexpected stuff happening. I mean, Georgia's playing great baseball and they lose to a team that's not even nationally ranked in the College World Series. That's I don't know. All these teams were red hot coming into this, and it's just who was the hottest, and Oklahoma was the hottest, and you get the result that you now are looking at with UNC being the second place team, and then the rankings. You're looking at them, the final rankings, and you're going, how did this happen? It's
yeah.
because teams
Yeah.
got hot at the right time.
I want to say I looked at it. UCLA went on that big win streak. I want to say they finished number 10 in the final poll. It's one of those deals where you made an excellent point when this whole thing started and these teams are playing as well as they are. You kind of said, man, it stinks that some really good teams are going to lose when they get to Omaha, and it's part of the deal. But I think for us, I think it was more prevalent this year. And you're going, man, these are really good teams. The way the field panned out, it was good. It was good. It was fun to watch, and like I said, we were trying to watch every night.
I would just like to highlight the Athens Super Regional too between Mississippi State and Georgia. That was insane. They combined for like over 20 home runs or something like that. It was absurd. The moment you thought one team was in control, the other one would just come out of nowhere. And I mean, Georgia would sweep, but at the same time, that was just insane. Mississippi State was not going down without a fight in that situation. And that's why heading into Omaha, I was kind of like, I think Georgia might have the best chance of winning the entire thing solely because of how well they were hitting the ball
Yeah, yeah,
against Mississippi State. That was no cupcake team either. So, I mean, that side of the bracket, you got 4 SEC teams. So, whoever won that side of the bracket deserved to. I mean, like I said, it sucks to see these teams lose because these are all great teams. They're all deserving of it.
right.
But then at the same time, whoever wins the whole thing deserved to win the entire thing because they had to beat teams that were just as good, if not better than them. And I think that's what Oklahoma did. They beat teams that were better than them, and they won the entire thing because they could piece together their momentum and just keep it going. I mean, baseball is a momentum based sport. I think it is the most momentum based sport and that I can think of. If you're winning games, you're going to keep winning games. If you're losing games, you're going to keep losing them. You might have one win, one loss in there somewhere to kind of break up the pattern, but it's usually if you're hot, you're hot. Just all around a really good championship series.
For sure. And I got to mention this too. It was really cool to see Grant Edwards from Walker pitching for Georgia in the World Series to look up and say, man, got to cover that young man when he was at Walker High School, and just really cool to see that. And just some of these moments we caught too, just watching the College World Series. You had the brothers playing against each other, and they get done, and the first thing they do is go find each other, because one of the guys was from Oklahoma, so he's moving on. The other brother gets eliminated with his. I'm trying to remember which game that was, but that was really cool to see. Just moments and things like that. College World Series, man, nothing like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, you guys were able to watch some of that because it was great baseball. It's always great baseball every single year. The most unpredictable and crazy things happen in it, and it's always worth a watch. That game that you were talking about was the double elimination game against between Oklahoma and Georgia, and Oklahoma ended up winning that one, and they went on to the College World Series after that win. So, I mean, crazy stuff. And then you have the Mercurius brothers on Oklahoma that were just on fire. Just all around great performances from those guys, and just this entire College World Series was really great to watch. Every single year, I always look forward to it. I could really not care less about the entire regular season necessarily. It's just when you get to that tournament time, I gotta lock in. I gotta watch it. I'm watching every little thing. I'm trying to see which team is the hottest, and predicting who's going to win the entire thing is really hard because it's not necessarily who's the best team; it's who's the hottest team. I think that's the theme that we've had over this episode.
For me, and I don't know if you feel like this, but you get in that groove, especially during tournament time, for basically about a month, and then when the College World Series hits, it's like you have to watch. You have to watch it, and then when it's done, it's like withdrawal because you've
Yeah,
gotten yourself into a routine where, man, I'm ready to watch baseball. Let's go watch it. And then when it ends, you're like happy the championship is done, but then you're like, oh man, what am I gonna do now? You know?
yeah, because I mean that's great baseball that they're playing. I mean, you got your blowouts and stuff, but like, dude, like this is exciting. It's not like this, boring baseball. It's exciting baseball. Even the low scoring games. I'll go back to the game 3 in Chapel Hill. That one was just after the super regionals were over, you looked at all of them and you just go, wow,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
amazing. I mean, you had the super regional between Georgia and Mississippi State, where they are just hitting absolute tanks left and right. Nobody's pitching very well in that one, or they were pitching well, and then they get to the bullpen and they're just getting lit up. And then you have games like in the Chapel Hill Super Regional where North Carolina beats USC and that game three, and just unexpected things happening in that one. I mean, they tied up the game, and then you're like, okay, you're probably looking at extras right here. And then that guy hits that pop fly out in the center field, and you're going, yeah, we're definitely looking at extras here. And then
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
drops. And then it's like, holy, you know, it's
yeah,
just, it's like, did that really just happen?
yeah,
I mean, we
yeah.
just sat there and we were like,
There's
wow,
no way.
just,
You just go, "No way." Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
believe that just happened.
A lot of no way moments, not man, what just happened? And, it was funny because like, your mom's in the kitchen and she would just hear us and she's like, "What now?" And you gotta come see this, and she's like, "Oh my gosh." So, we even got your mom in it, man,
Yeah.
she's
No, she was kinda into it too, because she was like, "Man, I just listening to it," she's like, "Those sound like some pretty good games going on." It's like, "Oh, yeah, every year." It's like you're looking at teams that are, I mean, these are the best baseball players in the country right here, and they are just fighting tooth and nail to win the entire thing. They're just beating up on each other. It's just always such a good watch. It's my favorite time, honestly, sports wise. I mean, I love football season. I love my Saints football. I love my college football. But when it comes to the NCAA tournament, this is absolute peak baseball. Just absolute cinema. You're not going to get better baseball than what you get in the College World Series. Just the format that they have, it completely unique. The softball does it too, and it always provides amazing games just consistently. Once again, they have blowouts. That's going to happen in every single sport. But when the games are competitive, they are insane. Just even the ones that they are like, oh man, this game's over. It's not.
yeah,
It's not.
that
We
that
saw
is
that. We saw that in Athens. It was not over. I mean, Georgia would go on to win that one, but just the fact that Mississippi State was able to take the lead on them in that situation was, I mean, actually, just the entire thing. I'm at a loss for words for just how good this was, and I could just ramble on like I
yeah.
have been about how good this College World Series was, but it was amazing.
We're just so many, like, no way moments, man. That just
Yeah.
that didn't just happen, but, yeah, it did,
It's just shocking, it's emotional. You see, guys playing their last games and guys that were like, "I can't believe we just did that." It's just these highs of highs and lows of lows that you're seeing with these players too. All around amazing. This is one of the best ones I think I've seen.
The thing that really sticks with me too is, Oklahoma wins the whole thing, but they kept panning over to the UNC dugout as well, and I think it's so their players can kinda see the moment, it's a moment that they're missing out on, but at the same time, I think it's a respect thing where UNC wants to, "Hey, we just battled with you guys won it, and I tip my hat to you," you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good sportsmanship between the teams when they're playing each other, and I mean, just seeing those teams lose is heartbreaking, but then it's also exciting to see the teams that do win and make it out. Oklahoma absolutely deserved it because they had to go through, I believe they had the hardest path to get to the championship game
Yeah,
out of any of those teams.
yeah,
I mean, just that side of the Men's College World Series bracket, like in Omaha, that was really difficult for them to get through, and they did it without losing. Nothing like it. I mean, just seeing these guys do what they do, guys playing for their last time, guys, yeah, up and coming stars. Just you got a whole range of the type of talent. You got a whole range of the emotions between the players. I mean, it's just an amazing time to play baseball. And it absolutely sucks for those teams that have to lose, especially for North Carolina, who they fought to get where they did. They deserve to be where they did. And for them to lose in that fashion is just disappointing for those guys, especially the ones where, that's the last time they'll probably ever play competitive baseball
yeah.
again. And that's always heartbreaking to see. That's heartbreaking for those guys. And, they would have loved to have gone out with a national championship, but the best team at that moment won, and that was Oklahoma. So they came out hot, they won the entire thing, and now we're sitting here talking about it.
Here we are. Until next year.
Yeah, definitely watching next year's. I think at this point, I can't go a June without watching the College World
Yeah,
Series because
yeah.
it is just the best baseball. It's the best baseball. It's better than March Madness.
I go back to a couple years ago, I think, and we had we had the TV deal was we didn't have the ESPN deal, and I think you realized that we actually missed the first day of the College World Series, and the next thing I knew, I heard the TV coming down the hall, and you had it on. You signed up right there for to get your ESPN back going. So that's just part of the deal. I think that's one of your things. You watch the calendar now to make sure you don't miss it.
Absolutely, that's it's worth the money. You pay 1 month $30, and then you get it. You can watch every single one of those games if you get the ESPN Unlimited, and that's what I got. Not sponsored.
Yep, this is not an advertisement, folks.
Not an advertisement, but, during the month of June, get it. It's worth it. That's how I got it. That's how I watched every single game that I could. If I was available to watch a game, I was watching a game.
Yeah, yeah, that's just how it was. And we'd get up and go, "Hey," because I think they changed the start time for one of the games, and it was like we were expecting a primetime game, and all of a sudden it was kinda like, "Oh, they're playing now." So we jumped in real quick, so got it done. You got anything else, man?
That's all for this episode, I think. I think we covered everything pretty much, so, it was just a good baseball.
Bottom line, bottom line. We thank you guys for joining us. We're hoping to get this thing back going consistently again. You can follow us on multiple platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. Where else are we, Adam?
Spotify, Apple Podcast. Yeah, we're pretty much everywhere.
Check us out. We appreciate you joining us, and we can't do this without y'all. We will see you next time. Thanks a lot.